Welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. Logging on. Live from the Marina here in Long Beach. So we're going to go for a 5-minute silent sit. We'll start in about a minute. So get whatever you need, which might be nothing but your own self-support, or maybe you want a little blanket to sit on, or even a yoga block. Basically, in any configuration, you're going to want a neutral upright spine, but you decide legs. So I'm going kind of a wide, but not a stretchy wide. Nice, stable base, but please choose what you like. So just get grounded. Use just the minimal amount of effort so your seat feels comfortable, easeful. And officially, feel free to close your eyes, but you're also welcome to keep them softly open. And let's start. Just 5 minutes to sit. You can pretty much just let your mind be wide open. right, everybody, that was 5 minutes pretty much on the button. Again, you can draw your own conclusions about how it went for you. Next session I'll likely guide a little more in the opening. Anyway, so from here, here's what we're going to set off on, and then I need to make one quick camera adjustment. For some reason I can't see myself very well anymore. But please embark on this task. So you're going to lean back onto your posted up arms. Straddle your feet a little wider than your hips. And just start real easily, gently. If at all possible, you're going to come back to this guy. You've probably been doing it for a long time now. So in the event you've been on this path for a while, you can start sitting upright with it. You can lean into the external leg, the knee that opens out. Conversely, you can try to twist toward the internal leg, the knee that comes in. Oh my gosh. All right. All right. Then everybody, we're going to come back to center. Briefly, this won't last too long. We're actually going to come to lie on our back. Once you're down on your back, we're going to hug one knee toward the chest. And then just move that leg in some circles. And then circles the opposite direction. Okay. And then let's move to leg 2. So about 10 or 12 circles. And then the opposite direction on the clock. Then let's hug both knees in. Okay. Then we're going to rest 2 flat feet on the floor. Take your hands like this, kind of like palm on back of hand. Bend one knee up like a tabletop and push on your leg. So you want to activate your upper trunk. Like you're squeezing your ribs in and tucking them down towards your hips. You want to activate your low abdominals and this bent leg that you're pushing on. And this bent leg is resisting the push. And release and switch. One more time, side 1. So if the arms weren't there to block, the knee would be like really coming in. Side 2. Okay. And then release. Awesome. Then, bend that leg back up like a tabletop. Put the hands on the inside of the leg, and with the hands push, but with the leg resist. So ultimately, nothing looks like it's happening, but it should feel like a ton is happening. So my leg is trying to push, but my hands are resisting. Oh my God. And release. Second leg. Resist on the inside. Oh, you're trying to adduct this leg. Move it into the midline. Oh, but she meets resistance. And release. Okay, round 3. Back to the tabletop leg. Take the hands and block the outside. Now you're trying to abduct. You're trying to take your leg out, but the hands are coming in. Again, it doesn't look like much happens, but it should feel like a lot happens. And release. Leg 2. Blocking the external. Release. 4th round. Catching the hands at the hamstrings, and with your leg trying to push it away from your trunk, but your hands are there to resist. Oh. Last one, second leg. It's that tabletop leg that's been part of this whole sequence. Add the resistance. Ooh. And then everybody, when you're ready, release that. Let's come back to 2 knees hugged in. And then just begin to rock and roll. Any amount that feels green lit. So if you can, come all the way up to a seat and either reach up, then roll back down. Reach forward and roll back down. Reach downward and forward and roll back down. Or upward and even add a little twist. Now, the rolling for me is, I'm just very comfortable with it, and I'm on a thick mat, and I'm on thick grass, so it's extra cozy. If you're on a thin mat on hard wood, maybe just stay up here and work these movements a little bit more. But if you're able to integrate the roll, bring it on. Last 30 seconds. Try not to roll into your neck. Okay. Then, the next time you're up, let's get back to that exercise we did when we got interrupted. So let's come back to this guy. Remember, you can lean forward more with this one. You can put a little more stretch on the outside leg. You could put a little more emphasis on the internal leg. All right, next. Going to shift to all fours. And just a few times, launch your hips backward and push your hips forward. You can always be on fists, fingertips, palms. holding little dumbbells. Last couple. Oh my gosh. All right. So one more time. We're going to repeat the sequence essentially, but with a little more each time on each element. All right? So we're going to come back down. This time while you're down, this is a little different. Lift into a bridge. And then lower the bridge. So you want to try about 10 of these guys. So you lift into bridge. And lower the bridge. Try to control the ascent. Try to be at the apex for a moment, and then control the descent. Four more. And then on this last one, stay up in there. And let's try about 10 little marching movements. Okay. Once you played out the march, come on down, and let's come back to the rocking. So now every rock can come with a reach, a lateral bend, forward bend, twist. Oh, gosh. Could even really get your rocking and rolling going and try to come into a little squat. Or squat to stand. Okay. Let's come back to a seat. We'll sit upright and get the shin box going one more time. Version 3. Now we're not leaning back, but you can go to that if need be. And if it feels really good, and you want to combine this with the bridge, when you get to one side, bridge up your hips. Looks a little weird, because it feels pretty good. Again, I have that added benefit of just being on like essentially a cushion, so that helps. Finally, let's shift back to the all four part of the sequence. This time though, tuck your toes, lift your knees off the ground, and do a little crawling. Basically, you're just taking about 60 seconds worth of steps. You can go forward and backward. You can go laterally. You could go in a little circle. You can take periodic breaks and just hit it as you can. If you want it a lot stronger, last 10, 15, 20 seconds, you could do like some hopping or some skipping. Okay. As you transition, everybody, we're going to walk hands toward feet. And walk the hands up the feet, shins, knees, thighs, hips. Ay, ay, ay. Knew we'd make it up. Took a little while. All right. So you'll probably be in a position to see this a little bit better. The four-way push resistance action on the hips. What we did on our back, we're going to do standing up. 1 round per leg. Should go pretty quickly. Lift up the left leg. With the hands, resist. With your leg power, try to take it up to the sky. With your ribs, lock them in. With your standing leg hip, keep it solid. Oh my God. And release. Side 2. We're only giving these one good go each time, so bear that in mind. Resist. Oh gosh. And resist. Ribs in. Hip locked down. Head steady. And release. Round 2. Block the inside movement. So your intention is to take this leg across, and your arms say, no, no, you're just going to stay right there. And release. Second side. Release. Okay, just 2 more to go. Block the outside move. So here your intention and the strength, and you're recruiting all the muscles that take the leg out. You're just blocking it. Oh, gosh. Release. Second side. This is the third of four movement patterns. Leg is trying to go out. Arms have a different idea. Oh, and release. Goodness. Last one. And obviously this whole round has, the balancing component. That line on our back lacks. So this time we're holding the hamstrings and we're pushing the leg downward. We're just preventing it from leaving this tabletop angle via arm recruitment. And release. Last one. 8 of these guys. And finally, let's let go of that. Nice, everybody. Let's try a couple big shoulder rolls. So this is our forward, upward, backward, downward move. finish it up, let's send it the opposite direction. And then let's release that. We're going to hinge down, push open the knees a little. You can be almost level to the ground, but I'd suggest having your head a little higher than your tail. And then just let the arms cross and uncross. Now if you're super flexible, maybe they cross behind you, but that's unlikely. But open them up as much as you're able to. This is the one we see Michael Phelps do before he gets in the pool, among lots of other things. All right, a few more moves here. Big swings, alternating which arm goes in front. Oh, man. And then let's release that. All right. You don't have to turn. You can if you want. I just figured the profile might be more instructive for this one. So, one more little set of balancing exercises. We're going to lift one leg. Kind of that same tabletop from before. We're going to reach the hands forward like you're holding onto a softball in each hand. And then we're just going to turn. This lifted knee, you're just going as high as you can. It's got no restriction. Trunk stays locked in. No back bend. Switch. You can do a couple little swings in between, always feels good to me. But we're pretty much just going right to the new side.
30.
Spinning the dials.
I'll give you water right now. This one?
Oh, man. Okay. Release. We'll do one more round, different than spinning the dials on this one. Lift up the leg. Lock in the ribs. This time straighten the leg. And let's do drumming exercises. So your arms do little beats up and down. Almost done. Last one, second side. Lifted, straightened, solid, little beats. All right, everybody, last couple swings, that'll end it. Won't end the session, but it'll end this little section. Oh, man. All right. Let's take the feet pretty wide. Maybe somewhere between, as wide as, basically if you drew a line from your elbow down, kind of on the conservative side, and getting a little more adventurous, maybe out at the wrist. Give your butt a little squeeze. Pull back through those ribs in the front. Pull back through the bone where your tongue is attached. So then you're going to take this hand over here, the left, and bring it down towards your right foot. Oh, man. Come back. Oh. Then your hand over here, right hand, down toward left foot. Let's try about 5 more side to side. So it's not triangle. Ay, ay, ay. It's got tiny shades of it. It's not Parsarita Padottanasana because we're twisting. Oh, it's kind of a unique entity. Oh my gosh. One more per side. Oh my goodness, that feels good. Let's come back to center. Take the hands to the hips. Keep those strong wide legs. One more sequence here. This time we're going to hinge at the hips. Let the fingertips find the ground. Relax the chin down and in a little bit. Now from here, we're going to keep one hand down on the ground. Be this left guy to start. We're going to reach the right arm out like a wing. And then just any amount, twist upward and right. This is optional. As you proceed in the pose, you can walk this left grounded hand at sort of an arc in the direction of your right foot. Oh. Eventually, shift back to center and switch sides. So you can keep it here the whole time. This is a great shape. But particularly as it relates to like progressing, into what we did in the warm-up, you're starting to move more towards your foot. All right. So let's be bringing it on back to the center. Bring it on back. Get those hands back to your hips. Oh my goodness. Let's find our way back up and walk the feet together. All right. Nice. We haven't done that sequence in quite a while, so we're going to get wide again. Same exact setup, right? Anywhere between as wide as your elbows, and kind of the not super wide, but still feeling kind of wide, or as wide as wrists. Even fingertips if you're really feeling it. Okay. I'm going to put the hands on the hips again. We're going to take this left leg and turn at the foot, at the shin, at the knee, at the thigh, at the hip. Do that away. Then from the hip, we're going to bend, do that away. Oh. And then come back to the 9 and 3 o'clock arms, wherever that takes your hand. Trikonasana, the triangle pose. Classically, it's taught looking up toward that top hand. It's perfectly fine to look straight ahead forward. It's also okay to look down. Now, before you come up and out of this pose, you want to really ground the back leg. And then lift up and out. So come back to center. Spin the new side. Right leg for most of you is going to turn 90 full degrees. Shin, knee, foot, thigh, everything turns. Back toes barely turn in. Hinge at the hip. A little sideways hinge like a little teapot. Then the 9 and 3 o'clock arms. It's weird because it's not 9 and 3 anymore on the clock, but it's that same open arm shape straight from your collarbones. Look down, sideways, or up. Trikonasana. So remember, as you get ready to transition up, that's an important time in the pose. You want to be very mindful of the transitions. Establish a solid connection with that back leg to the ground, and even that back arm, kind of like it's getting pulled on, and you just float back up. Now let's keep the arms wide. Go back to side one more time. Trikonasana. Now let's just modify this triangle pose a little bit. You're going to take this top right arm and just sweep it. If you want, this is a little tricky, you can take this top right hand and hold the back of your skull. Oh my God, that feels good. And then get the transition going, get it ready, really get established in your back leg. Float on up. The last time, second side, Trikonasana. Switching from the 9 and 3 o'clock arm to right along the ear arm. Maybe right along the ear arm, just a little bend, and you can cup right at that occipital ridge and hold on to the skull. Mindful through the transition. Oh, back up. Let's get centered. Let's reset. Whew, sweet. All right. It's classic yoga pose for a reason. All right. I just don't teach it as much as I used to. So, next one. Combination of like the balancing work, one-leggedness, and the triangle pose. It's pretty much exactly what you get when you put the two together. So part triangle, part balancing equals half moon. So quick demo, and just in case you're not in the know, I think most of you are, Ardha Chandrasana. It's triangle pose in the beginning, and then it's a little kind of walk out, and then it looks like this guy, where you can look down, sideways, or even up. Yeah? All right. So you may already be in it, that's fine. Otherwise, let's come back to this one. Let's go in one step at a time. Triangle. Now, triangle you could essentially do standing up on the balancing beam. Same thing for Ardha Chandrasana. Your right hand's got to get some distance on that foot. Sorry, your left hand, or whatever side you're on. And the back leg, as she rises, she's basically right in line with your tail. If you elect to lift the arm, she's right in line with your shoulder. Feel free to look down, sideways, or the most challenging, which is up. Half moon. Oh, goodness. Transition is like sort of back to triangle. There it is. And then back up. Last time. Second side. Trikonasana into Ardha Chandrasana. Triangle. On the line. Lifting hip. Rolling up through the trunk like I'm trying to face out toward the computer screen. Eyes down, make it a little easier. Eyes out to the screen area, kind of lines up your head. Eyes up to the top hand, really connects it. Lost it. really connects it to the triangle pose and is a little more challenging. All right. Goodness. And finally back to triangle. And up and out. All right. I don't want to belabor the point too much or burn you guys out, but it's been a while since we've done half moon. Last one more time. It's a really excellent pose. You could even go against the wall if need be. Last one. Triangle. Transition. Get steady. Explore with your arm and your gaze. Added bonus. Transition a different way here. We're going to square up the hips. We're going to keep the leg lifted. So instead of open stacked hips, the hips are square. This is standing splits. Now we're going to keep the hips squared up this way. Step back to a lunge. Come back to center. Come up. All right. That was a little sneak attack there at the end. All right. So last round, Trikonasana is the gateway into half moon. And then once we're up in half moon, we'll square up the hips. Triangle. Ardha Chandrasana. That's awesome. You guys are going to think I put that clown horn in during editing, but that's just the passerby. All right. Gotta love it. No clown horn will keep me from my half moon. Okay. Now remember here, y'all, the transition. 2 hands on the ground, so that makes it a lot easier. But you square up the standing leg hip. You continue to lift standing splits. Oh. All right. Same way as we did round 1. Step back to a lunge. Turn the lunge forward like you're in a Parsarita Padottanasana. And then one little lunge sequence, y'all. Turn back to side 1 of lunging and push it, pull it, push it, pull it. If you want to add one more component on the end of the push, add a little twist. Last go, lunging on the new side. Letting it move fluidly. If you want to add one more component at the end of the forward part of the push, the twist is okay. Ooh. Bring it down. So I'm going to bring my mat back into the scene, but we're going to stay on the ground. So take a look at this one. This is always hard for me to do in the backyard, and depends on how tight your confines are, it could be challenging, but when you have the, oh my gosh, the right amount of room, this guy's so cool. So, and then we're going to transition toward closing. 8-way turn, right? So you start like this, and you pick one limb. Right arm, right leg, left leg. That's it. And one of those limbs initiates the movement to get you flipped over, and that same limb initiates the movement to get you back to here. Take one look, especially if you've never done this sequence. I'm electing this arm. I reach it, I let my whole body twist and come over. Same arm is going to be the initiator getting me back. Now the whole body does come along for the ride, but one arm starts it, or one leg starts it. All right, y'all, get it going. So for me, that was 2 out of 8. Now I'm going to elect the other arm to get started. Now I've got each leg to go through. Oh my gosh. One more leg. All right. If you currently don't have space to really explore that move, next time you've got space, give it a try. It is so cool because you are letting your entire spinal column rotate. You don't really know the exact moment you're going to actually do the flipping. It comes at a different point in everybody's spine. But it's really thorough, just going through those 8. Okay, everybody. So, let's close with a simple seat, and then we'll do Shavasana. So this looks a lot like how we opened. Except we're going to do this. We actually did this just last session. We're going to bend one leg. You've got 3 options. Post up backward, sit upright, or hinge forward. If you're in the hinge forward camp and you just don't, it doesn't hit a restriction, you hardly feel a stretch, that's improbable. You'd definitely be in the minority, but it's possible. In that case, you could work more arm flexion along your ears, and just keep your spine really long during your hinge. Okay, let's switch sides. So new straight leg, new bent leg, new set of spine options, post up backward, sit upright. Oh, God. Ooh, this side feels stiff. Or hinge forward. Same option if you're in the really bendy camp and you need a little extra challenge. You could be up here on your hinge. All right. Oh my gosh, Let's come up from there, everybody. So, okay. Looks like we still have a feed. Awesome. Sorry again about the early technical difficulties. Looks like we've made it through. So let's clock a few minutes in Shavasana. You're welcome to take calves up a chair, legs up a wall, or just good old corpse pose out in the center of the room. Everybody will kind of circle back pretty much to the practice we opened with, 5 minutes, this time lying down instead of sitting up. Shavasana. bhavatu. Sahanao bhunaktu. Sahaviryam karva haye. Tejasvay namitamasu. Ma vidvaha vashai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we be protected. May we be nourished. May our studies be effective. Let there be no animosity amongst us. Peace in you and me, and peace in nature, peace in all the forces. All right. Well, everybody, if you haven't made your way back up to a seat, please find your way. Though we're not together physically, obviously, it's great we can join together virtually. Thanks for being here today, everybody. Namaste.